All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. Want to give a special thanks to G the Great One. Thanks a lot, my man, for your consistent support of this channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here is one of those luxuries I have of not being a Kobe fanboy or hater. So I can just call it objectively. I got no issue with Kobe Bryant, and I definitely don't have any reason to be biased towards him either. But when something sticks out, good or bad, I get to just call it out. Some people like that, some don't. This is called objectivity. So my scenario here is, what did all-time greats do when the series is tied 2-2? So obviously it's anybody's series at that point. The better team usually prevails, even in that situation, but not always. It is not a guarantee. And when you look through the all-time greats, there's going to be a couple names that stand out, and one will definitely stand out since the merger. So starting it out with Elgin Baylor. Now, Elgin Baylor played St. Louis and Boston quite a bit. Yeah, he played Detroit a couple times, played San Francisco, New York, but really that was the core of his competition. With the series tied 2-2, 4-7 is his record, which obviously that's not great, but his competition was stiff. How about Giannis Antetokounmpo? When he plays a series that's tied 2-2, he's got a 3-4 record. Toronto, Boston, Toronto, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Phoenix in the finals, Boston, win some, lose some, but he's lost slightly more than he won. Nikola Jokic, he's got a 4-3 record with the series tied 2-2. 2019, I think he should have beat Portland in the semifinals, but he didn't. But he did beat them in 2021. He beat a Clippers team he shouldn't have beat, so it all evens out. In 2023, en route to his only championship, the only semi-competition was Phoenix in the semifinals, who tied the series 2-2, and of course Denver blasted them the last two games. And he did get destroyed this last year, but it was against a much superior team. That happens. 4-3. Kevin Durant. Now, you'd think Kevin Durant would have an even better record than he does, being on Golden State and all that, and always having a 50, 60 win team year in, year out. But he was 7-4. David Robinson. He didn't really do that well until the very end, with Tim Duncan and Bruce Bowen, Parker Ginobili and all that. When they got all those guys together, his fortunes turned around. He also had a 4-3 record when the series is tied 2-2. Bob Pettit. Bob Pettit had extraordinary competition. He was playing Boston 3 times, the Lakers 5 times, and even San Francisco in 1964, and that's Wilt Chamberlain. So he was playing against Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, Bill Russell, and Wilt Chamberlain in almost every one of these series. And still, somehow, he was 5-5 with a series tied 2-2. That's really good, considering the competition. Kevin Garnett, a very surprising 6-5. Most of that was done once he got to Boston. When he was on Minnesota, he didn't win series like that. Karl Malone, a guy who was eliminated every year of his career, could never quite get over the hump. There was always a team better or hotter than Utah, it seemed, until the late 90s. But all in all, a 7-8 record, and he also had some pretty tough competition, like the Lakers in 88. That's really tough competition. Chicago in 97, Houston in 95, Houston in 97. 7-8, respectable considering the competition. George Mikan, what do you expect? He was 3-0. They had far and away the best team in that era. Oscar Robertson, again, he's going up against Boston, Philly, later on, the Lakers, a 2-5 record, which definitely is not very good. Stiff competition, though. Moses Malone, kind of disappointing. Competition was tough, but not that tough. 2-5 record. Steph Curry, about what you'd expect. 6-2 with the series tied 2-2. But there's definitely players better. Jerry West, considering how many series he had to play against St. Louis and Boston and a couple against New York. All in all, a 6-6 record really isn't that bad. Dr. J, he split in the ABA, and some of these series, like 77 Portland, they're up 2-0. He lost. That 1984 against New Jersey, definitely disappointing. No way should they have lost in New Jersey. All in all, a little disappointing there at 4-6 for Dr. J. LeBron James, I thought had some pretty easy competition. 2006 against the Wizards, they win that series. 06 against Detroit, that's a tougher one. They lost, okay. 07 against Detroit, they won. 08 against Boston, they got beat. Okay, I can understand it. But 2010 against Boston, I can't understand it. You blow Boston out by 30 points in game 3, and then you get whooped on like that, 3 straight? No excuse. 2011 against Dallas, same thing. Now, of course, when he was on the super team, that's where he really made up for it. And then on Cleveland's super team, as long as he wasn't in the finals, he did good. All in all, 10-6 for LeBron, which is just okay. Nothing great. Shaquille O'Neal had a really good record. Part of that because he had Kobe Bryant on his team. But they played some tough teams. The Bulls in 95, not at their best, but still not an easy thing to eliminate Michael Jordan, especially in the 90s. Teams like Sacramento and San Antonio, yeah, they were tough. 8-3 record. It's actually very good. Tim Duncan also had a really good record. His competition was, for the most part, pretty good. Couple easy ones in there, but also a couple pretty hard ones. I'm sure the 03 Lakers, 05 Pistons were not easy to eliminate. 2012 OKC, 2013 Miami, 2016 OKC, but 13-4 for Tim Duncan is actually an excellent record. Hakeem Olajuwon, as we all know, was always at a disadvantage for a supporting cast. Always. Maybe at the very end, but then he had an aging supporting cast. You got names, but they're nowhere near their prime anymore. They're not affecting winning. Charles Barkley and Clyde Drexler both led teams to the finals, as did Olajuwon. But all three together, they couldn't even get out of the first round in 98. But all in all, against some pretty good competition, a 7-5 record with that supporting cast, I think that's pretty good. Wilt Chamberlain, considering how many times he had to play Boston and New York, he had to play Milwaukee later on, I think 8-5 is actually a pretty good record for Wilt. Larry Bird, also an 8-5 record, and we know he had tough competition. Philly in 81, the Lakers in 84, 85, Detroit in 87 and 88, but 3 of those losses was after the back injury, something to keep in mind. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for being in so many people's GOAT conversations, top 3 and all this kind of thing, 7-4, it's just okay. Olajuwon was 7-5. Olajuwon. Kareem had Oscar Robertson and Magic for 14 years of his career, and he was only 7-4. Magic Johnson had an excellent record. When the series was tied 2-2, he won 7 out of 8 times. 7-1 record, with the only loss coming in the 84 finals against Boston in 7 games. That's excellent. The king on this list, even taking into account that this man was out for 2 whole games in this series, played only parts of 2 others, and was injured for essentially the whole series. He was hobbled. He was not himself. One of the reasons why, and I know some of you guys always say, oh, Bill Russell at number 2, come on, that's ridiculous. This is one of the reasons. 10-0 in Game 7s. If you don't count 58, where he missed half the series and was essentially hobbled and ineffective in it, if you don't count it, 12-0 when a series is tied 2-2. 12-0, 10-0 in Game 7s, 17-1 when facing elimination. You're never going to find anything like that. And yeah, you can go on, oh, Havlicek. Nope, Havlicek does not have that. No, Bob Cousy does not have that. Michael Jordan, like Shaq, had an 8-3 record. He won every series that was tied 2-2 with the exception of 89 and 90 Detroit. And to refresh your memory, that was the Scottie Pippen elbow to the forehead, played only 1 minute game. The Pippen migraine game with no John Paxson. And then the 95 Orlando Magic, the coming off of a baseball season game. And I'm not making excuses, but I'm just simply saying what happened that contributed to the loss. I think the Bulls in 95 maybe could have played better. But no matter what Michael Jordan did, they had no answer for Shaq and Horace Grant. So I don't really think it mattered what he did. But then we come to the most impressive one on this list, with the exception of maybe Bill Russell. But since the merger, he stands alone. This is remarkable stuff right here. And to all you Kobe fanboys that got all over me the other day because I did a video highlighting something negative, this one also stands out like a sore thumb. Kobe Bryant, in his career, when the series tied 2-2, is 11-1. That is remarkable. 2000 against Sacramento, the series was tied 2-2.
But the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings with a hard-fought first round.
You never really have to win on the road, but you have to win all your games at home. And we played 2 great first games here. We played 2 awful games down in the Sac. So, we had to win this game tonight, and we came out and played. Like I said, I'd like to thank my teammates for showing up tonight. Everybody played well.
2002, Sacramento, Western Conference Finals. The series is tied 2-2. Actually, they're down 3-2.
The Kings very much alive. 8-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Bibby with the step. Gets it out to Christie for 3. Way off. Got glass. Doug Christie just 2 of 11 from the field. 15 seconds.
They've got a foul.
At the foul.
Make it happen.
All right, Bibby gets it back off the inbounds. Weber for 3. And Bryant. And it's broken up. So that will do it. The Los Angeles Lakers winning here in Sacramento in overtime, 112-106.
Kobe Bryant, let me ask you a question. Is it harder to defend the title or to win the title initially?
It's much harder to defend it. I mean, they gave us a run for our money, man, and I'm sure everybody in LA was on pins and needles, and it was a hell of a series.
And I realize there's a lot of controversy around that series, specifically Game 6. I get it. I saw it. And it does kind of look like Sacramento may have got ripped off. But the way it stands, they came back. They won that series. 0-3 against Minnesota in the first round. It was tied 2-2. They won 4-2. 0-3 against San Antonio is the only series they lost, Kobe Bryant's career, that was tied 2-2. But then the next year, same scenario, 2-2 against San Antonio. They won 4-2. 0-8 against Utah was 2-2. They won 4-2. And this one was always weird to me. 0-9 Houston in the Western Conference semifinals. It was 2-2. It was 3-3. And then in Game 7, this is how it went down.
Beating the Lakers 1 game in a series. Blocked by Gasol, the 10th block shot of the game. Certainly has the ability to make plays, putting it on the floor. Gasol, the drive here at the Staples Center. This one, no contest. A terrific performance in Game 7.
0-9 Denver, 4-2. 2010 OKC, 4-2. 2010 Phoenix, 4-2. The 2010 NBA Finals. LA is actually down 3-2.
Vujacic with the steal, and there'll be a Game 7 in the 2010 NBA Finals. A tough night to sleep for the Celtics as Pau Gasol and the Lakers, a great defensive effort. In fact, the second lowest point total in NBA Finals. It's been a 17-point turnaround here in the second half, but still plenty of time remaining. Wallace on Gasol. Shot. It's good. Gasol got it to go. Timeout Celtics. Lakers by 6 with a minute and a half to play. Comes a double. Bobby curling. Jump pass to Artest. Fires a 3. He got it. 20 points for Ron Artest.
Now you talk about a dagger. That's a dagger in the heart.
As the Lakers win their 16th title. This has to be one of the sweeter ones as they defeat the Celtics finally in a Game 7.
The 2010 Finals MVP and the winner of the Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP is none other than Kobe Bryant.
And they came back and won it. Give them credit. Naysayers are talking about, oh, Pau Gasol should have got Finals MVP. Stupid Dwayne Wade said that. Give me a break. How can a guy average 28 points a game and not be the MVP? I don't care what Gasol did or he rebounded. He didn't chip in 28 points. Without 28 points, you're not winning. Sorry. And then the last one was in 2011, first round against New Orleans. It was 2-2. They won 4-2. All told, 11-1 with the series tied 2-2. Nothing short of amazing. It's really an awesome thing. And it needs to be commended, respected, no doubt about it. Now this, to me, is more impactful than what happened in some closeout games. A lot of you people went off the deep end about closeout blowouts. Ultimately, it was one game and it was a loss. But it was weird that it happened to just him that many times. But on the flip side of that, Kobe Bryant has the best record of any player since the merger with a series tied 2-2. He's 11-1. You cannot ignore that. No matter how much you don't like Kobe, whatever. It can't be ignored. I'm sorry. This is something special, no doubt about it. Much like Bill Russell 10-0 in Game 7s. It must be respected. And Russell's 12-1 with the series tied 2-2. That's where mental fortitude comes in. And Kobe scored really high marks on my mental fortitude criteria. I think he was third or fourth on the list. Maybe only Russell and Jordan ahead of him, maybe. Nobody gonna tell me that Kobe didn't have mental fortitude for days. This proves that. So when you compare all the players, you can see the only players that are getting over 70% are George Mikan, because he was 3-0, so he's got a perfect 1,000. You got Steph Curry at 75%. You got Shaq at 72.72. Tim Duncan at 76.47. Kobe Bryant at 91.66. Magic, it's actually 7-1, 87.5. Typo. And Bill Russell, 12-1, 92.3, and Jordan, 72.72. Everybody else is under 70%. So there's just that handful of players. And the only people that are in the 90s is Russell, Kobe, Mikan. Mikan doesn't even hardly count, though, because he was only 3-0. But Kobe Bryant is on Bill Russell's level, at least in this criteria. And that's got to count for something. When a series is tied 2-2 like that, it's mental fortitude time, because it's the first team to 2 wins at that point in a best of 7. Or even if it's a best of 5, those got counted in here too. That's a winner-take-all game. And Kobe got one of those, 2000 Sacramento. And unlike some people that hold it against Kobe because he played with Shaq, I don't. Why would you hold it against him? Nobody could control the team they went to and who was on that team and all that kind of stuff. But when you have high-level players like that on the same team, whether it was Magic and Kareem, Dwayne Wade and LeBron, KD and Curry, Dr. J and Moses Malone, you gotta win. That is a must. You gotta win. And a three-peat qualifies as winning, especially since there's only been 3 in the last 60 years. I would think that qualifies as winning. So I never understood why people try to use that as a detriment to Kobe. And my thinking is, that's fine. It doesn't matter if Kobe and Shaq played together, but they had to win. And like I said, a three-peat qualifies as winning. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content. And that's it. Until next time.